All right, guys. Now, I did want to officially address all of this Tennessee football crap that happened yesterday with the notice of allegations detailing 18 NCAA violations and $60,000 of cash gift cards given to football recruits during the Jeremy Pruitt era, along with his wife apparently involved in it. There's a 51-page report from the NCAA. Of course, guys, the most important thing to know about this investigation, this all predates NIL. And guys, I've made video after video earlier this offseason talking about the concerns I had with NIL and calling for action specifically against the University of Texas A&M in regards to the way they conducted their NIL practices during the 2022 recruiting season, which is really 2021 into 2022. And of course, they signed the greatest class of all time, the Walter Nolan recruitment, the Overton recruitment, things like that, which needed to be investigated, and they haven't gotten investigated. So we heard earlier this year, I was talking about it on my channel. The NCAA reportedly didn't have the people. During the pandemic, they had to let a bunch of people go. They're using all their resources to investigate Tennessee. It really is. Listen, I am not a Tennessee fan. I've had issues with their fan base. We've gone at it over the Carnell Tate recruitment, things like that. But the NCAA needs to use every resource possible to investigate Texas A&M. And we had been told that the Texas A&M investigation was happening this summer, but apparently it was the Tennessee thing, and they've been really stuck on that, which really, it just seems like such a joke. I mean, there are so many bigger issues in regards to NIL cheating than this current situation where you're going back to an old coach at this point. You know, Jeremy Pruitt's not even the coach of Tennessee, so it's like, what is the point? I understand you want to punish teams, but there is blatant cheating going on that's 10 times worse, 30 times worse than giving out $60,000 in cash. That's like one car payment for Texas A&M and their boosters for many of these kids. It's like, oh, you want to get your Tesla painted? Here's some money, go do that. That's what they're doing. That's how bad it is. The 7-figure deals, the Miami. So this is the other issue with not punishing Texas A&M. And I know Texas A&M fans will say other teams are cheating and they're weaponizing NIL, and they would be 100% correct. My whole thing is Texas A&M was the first program to really go off the rails. They go off the rails in 2022. Not only do they not get punished, they get rewarded by signing the greatest class of all time. There's no punishment. They blatantly cheat. They blatantly weaponize NIL. And guys, what Tennessee fans and Tennessee people within their program, they want you to be naive to how NIL works. That's their whole thing. They're like, nothing's illegal. No. What a lot of these programs are doing is still blatantly illegal. You cannot offer kids money, offer kids NIL deals, use NIL deals to facilitate kids to commit to your school. That is illegal. But they say, oh, everyone's throwing money around. We can all do it. No. You're supposed to recruit the kid clean, and then when they come to campus, they can profit off of their name, image, and likeness. That's not what's happening. But Texas A&M fans originally were bragging about them spending $30 million on their recruiting class, and then Jimbo pushes back against it, and then all their fan base is like, oh no, we didn't do that. When they were blatantly bragging about it the month prior because they thought it was cool. So this has been going on for a while with Texas A&M. The whole thing with Tennessee getting these allegations, maybe this is a warning shot from the NCAA. The reason Texas A&M is the poster child and they're the ones that need to be punished is because they were the first ones to go off the rails. Now, we're seeing in 2023, and this is exactly what I predicted would happen, other programs like Miami giving a quarterback $9 million, like Tennessee giving a quarterback $8 million, Louisville, right, getting a 5-star running back, and that recruitment might not even be done. Texas A&M actually might outbid them for him if he decides to flip. So the whole thing is a complete mess, and enabling Texas A&M to blatantly not even bend the rules, blatantly cheat in 2022. All these other programs like a Miami, who normally they've been down, it's tough to recruit, whatever, they're like, listen, we can just pay kids. I mean, think about this. Miami, the University of Miami gave a basketball transfer $400,000, actually a 2-year contract, I think it might have been, 2-year contract, $400,000 and a new car. That's their basketball program. You think Miami has a good basketball program? No. But you got to think, if their basketball program is doing that with the NIL, just imagine what the football program is doing. And it's a situation where I'm not even blaming Miami. If you see Texas A&M getting away with it, your program's been down, it's a little bit harder to recruit and to sell kids to come. If you can, use money, use NIL deals to do it, when you see other teams blatantly doing it and not getting any repercussions for it, this is why it's an issue. So other programs see what Texas A&M did in 2022, and they say, listen, we're desperate. Tennessee, Miami, Louisville, Texas is doing it. So a lot of these programs that have been down are now starting to blatantly weaponize the NIL, and then we're seeing some programs not want to. Michigan State is another one that I believe is blatantly weaponizing NIL. I don't think Michigan State should be punished. I don't think Tennessee should be punished. I don't think Miami should be punished. If you want to reset how NIL is supposed to work, you give Texas A&M 2 options. These are Texas A&M's 2 options when they get investigated. This is their 2 options. Option number 1, 5-year bowl ban. And you can appeal it down to 3. The opportunity to appeal it down to 3. That's option number 1. Option number 2, Jimbo Fisher immediately terminated. Those would be the 2 options. And of course, they never fired Jimbo, so you would bowl ban him 5 years and it could get cut down to 3. That, if I'm the NCAA and I'm saying we have to stop this, it's only fair to go to the team that first went off the rails. Now, I don't know 1,000% if Texas A&M was the first team to use this style of recruiting when NIL became legal. Another team might have used it, but what I'm saying, when it comes to the class of 2022, they were the program that quote-unquote went off the rails. And now this year, the programs that are quote-unquote going off the rails are Miami. Tennessee gave the quarterback whatever, Tennessee as well, because they also got another pass rusher, and it's a pure NIL deal. And then another program like Louisville, Oregon getting Dante Moore from Michigan. How about the University of Oregon landing a 5-star QB from Michigan? Yeah, that is real legitimate. Oh yeah, that is totally clean recruiting. I love the way college football is currently. And then of course they twist my words and they say, oh, you don't want kids to get paid. That's not what it is at all. The kids go to the campus. I'm trying to protect the kids because right now these kids, they're still developing. They're 17, they're 18. Guys, let's be real. We were all very dumb at that age. It's tough. They want the money. So they're going to go to schools where maybe the development might not be the best, like a Texas A&M, like a Tennessee, because they've got a $3 million NIL deal waiting for them. It got so bad with Texas A&M. I've said this story before. They had already signed 3 5-star defensive linemen, and there was a 5-star defensive lineman in the class of 2023 reclassified after Texas A&M had already signed 3 5-star defensive linemen. In other words, if you're a 5-star, you're probably not going to go to a class with 3 5-stars in your same position group, but the kid reclassifies to 2022 and then goes to Texas A&M, and they want us to believe that's clean recruiting. That's what that's completely real, completely clean. So this is a step forward for the NCAA. I am not a Tennessee fan, but I'm saying what is this? This is a waste of resources. There is a major emergency issue right now with NIL, and it's spreading like a cancer to all of these programs that are desperate enough to do this. And it's not. I would not punish these programs except for Texas A&M, because you have to make an example out of someone, and then maybe all the other programs will realize if you make an example out of A&M,
the boosters will be like, all right, we can't do anything because if we keep doing this, they're going to end up coming for us and we're going to face significant punishment. So this is the way I would handle it. What they should have done is immediately after the recruiting of 2022 is bull banned them, because then you would at least nip it in the butt, and completely de-incentivize any other teams from doing it, because it's like, oh, Texas A&M blatantly weaponizes NIL, they get a 5-year bull ban. Let's not do that, right? But Texas A&M blatantly weaponizes NIL, they get the greatest recruiting class in history, nothing happens to them, and their fan base brags about it. So this is something that I'm disappointed in. I understand Tennessee obviously ran an extremely sloppy program under Pruitt, and it's real bad, but it's not like Tennessee won anything or anything like that. I agree if they're cheating, whatever, but it's so funny. I'm looking at this tweet, $60,000. Oh my God, $60,000. I think Texas A&M boosters have spent more money courting a 5-star in one dinner than the $60,000 that was rumored to be gifted here, although Jeremy Pruitt's wife also was in on it, which is funny. And then all 18 of the allegations in the Tennessee NOA are level 1 violations. That's an extremely large amount. So apparently it's a record amount of allegations that the University of Tennessee faces. I have not heard anything when it comes to some sort of punishment Tennessee will face. Maybe a 1-year bowl ban, I don't know. But if it is this much, then something will happen. I mean, you remember with Ohio State, they had the 1-year bowl ban. There'll be something they'll have to do, I'm sure. And Tennessee's probably going to want to get this out of the way as soon as possible because they are recruiting a lot better and they do have a 5-star quarterback. I don't know if they're going to face any repercussions. I'm just saying, if there's 18, apparently that's a ton. I have not heard anything on their possible punishment, but we will see. Either way, guys, this seems like a step forward. We're getting closer to the Texas A&M investigation, which will be the biggest scandal in modern college football history, and that will reset NIL, and we will see a lot more of a clean ecosystem when we get the Texas A&M bowl ban, or they could fire Jimbo, which they're not going to do, so that's the options they have, right? You fire Jimbo or you get a 5-year bowl ban. The issue is they cheated in 2022 and it opened the floodgates. That's the thing that I was trying to explain. So we'll see what happens with Tennessee and what they face. Apparently this is a record number, but the good news is if this is all done, this will open up all of the NCAA's resources to focus on Texas A&M. And I'm not a huge Tennessee fan. I think this is a waste of time. I know they cheated, but they didn't win anything. It's whatever. And it is kind of insulting. They're talking about $60,000. And then I heard some people in the comments on Twitter and stuff, they're like, well, it's not allowed at the time. People have no clue how NIL recruiting works. The amount of people I see that say, oh, it's a Wild West, you can pay kids. That's what Texas A&M wants you to believe. It's actually illegal. They're just not enforcing it, okay? People are naive. They don't do research on the actual NCAA laws, and there's a specific reason why the type of recruiting that Texas A&M is doing is not legal. It's because it does not benefit players. It will influence players to not choose the best school for them, but choose the school where they're going to get the most money up front. It is not a good ecosystem. That is why it's illegal. Okay, guys, so we will see what happens. That's the full intel that we have on this, the explanation with Tennessee. It's a developing scandal with the university, and I'm sure, Tennessee's going to want to get this sorted out as soon as possible. So we'll see. But, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.